everyone. Hey, congratulations on your new film, Treading Water.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
We always enjoy these humanistic, type of films, and especially the fact that you just came off your film festival, and now it's going to be for the rest of the world to watch. So let me throw out this first question, Gino. Tell us where the origination came from for Treading Water.
Yeah, so I was working in supported housing, teaching camera skills, filmmaking skills, and just got on with the housemates that were there. They had a lot of issues, addiction, mental health issues, and the family support structure. It was really tough for them. They probably non-existent. But then there was a lot of banter, a lot of fun in the house, a lot of camaraderie, and just I felt like that resilience and that the fact that they want to keep having a go was something that I would love to put in film. I'd also made a short film about a homeless couple earlier, and so I kind of wanted to take a bit from that with the love story between Danny and Laura, and yeah, that's kind of where it all come about, really.
Excellent. Joe, Becky, tell us what initially drew you that you wanted to be part of this project.
I guess the script was so wonderfully complex. So anytime, you've got the chance to audition for a character like that, you want it. And then the audition process was so interesting. It felt like a workshop. It felt like you'd almost already been given the job and you were exploring in the room with the writer, director, and producer. And I just love the way I think. I'd always thought that improvisation was more about comedy, maybe because of my drama school training. But the way Gino works with improv was just so wonderfully natural and kind of really made you explore the character in an amazing way that made you think you were building it with him in the moment, even at the audition stage. So that made me really drawn to it, and also just telling a beautifully human northern story.
Joe?
Yeah, same as Becky. I remember reading Treading Water for the first time. Um, Gino and Ben were really good with us actually, because we auditioned actually in January, but I think I was sent the brief in December before Christmas, so there was quite a while to study it and go over it, and I read it a fair few times, and I remember thinking, because I didn't know Gino personally, I'd not met him before, and I remember thinking, wow, this guy. When you sometimes read things that are, street lingo and stuff, sometimes whoever's written it can sound quite clunky, but Gino really, every single word was word perfect for how these particular people would talk. It was so authentic. And it was really fun because, I'm from the area, so the locations that are used, it was very easy to envisage. Oh, that's that street. I've walked down there. Oh, I used to live opposite that. So every single scene, it was a brilliant script for me to read because one, I thought it was great, but two, it was very easy to envisage because I know all these places very well. So there was an automatic sense of connection with it. And to play the story of a young man who's very complicated and isn't an angel, but he's battling these mental health issues. To sort of represent someone like that is a challenge, but a very rewarding challenge, and one that I really wanted to do, and one that I was fortunate to do really.
Do you know what was your process like getting the best, drawing these characters out of your actors?
Yeah, so I mean, it started with the audition, like Becky and Joe said. It was we kind of had these auditions where it was face to face. It was not like a self tape type thing. It was a bit workshoppy as well. So maybe I don't know, 8 or 10 people would be there at the same time on occasions, and it was being sort of working on the text and off the text. So even at the audition, we were saying during whilst they were doing the scenes, chuck this in, do that, do this, like why don't you try? It was just getting them used to the idea of going in and out of script and impro, and then meeting the most creative actors and because of that audition process, we found the most creative actors, I felt, and it was a really good team that gelled. And then we brought that to set. We didn't change that element of it. Me and the DOP, Sam Cronin, we discussed it and we said it. We wanted it to be instinctive, handheld. We didn't want lights getting in the way. It just, we wanted him to react to what was going on, have a second camera, have takes that go longer, always keep the takes different and fresh. Because I was editing it, I felt actually I don't want 10 of the same take because that's going to be useless to me because I'm not going to be able to see a new thing or shape it in a different way. So I wanted lots of variety in it and to get out of that rhythm of just reading a line the same way every time. When you're chucking different words in and different moments in, and like at the canal scene between Danny and Laura, the bit where Danny sings the song, Laura, I adore you. That bit was not in the script. That was improvised, and then they're going back into the script. So it's just and you just get these moments of magic, and I think it's preparing for those moments of magic. That's what we did to try and get the most honest, authentic performance we could.
Wow. And Becky and Joe, now getting into the characters, I find, just watching it, I could tell it's actually challenging. Can you talk about getting into the mental capacity of your characters? Because, these are very realistic characters off the streets.
Yeah, I mean, there was two sort of things going on with Danny really. Um, One was the sort of literal thing that he's going through day to day life, speaking to people and being quite restrained. And then the other version of him is what actually is going on in his head or what might be about to happen, which is the intrusive thoughts. So, yeah, there was a lot of complexities going on with him. And me and Gino discussed at length about him having obsessive compulsive disorder and intrusive thoughts and what that meant. And one thing that we really, really wanted to do as a team was not to make that a generalization or to be very stereotypical in the sense that, oh, he's got OCD. So, he must like to have everything in order and be clean. A lot of OCD is about what you don't see as well. So I constantly tried to play him with a lot of restraint as well, because it's not just about what you do see when he is doing his little quirks and mannerisms, but it's almost about when you see him doing nothing but trying to restrain himself from the thoughts in which he has really. So yeah, he's constantly fighting against himself. And it's quite interesting as well because in acting, you're taught to listen and react to people around you, and that's all you really need to do. So it's quite contradictory to play a character who at times is actively not listening because he's thinking about punching you in the face. It's bizarre. You know what I mean?
What about for you,
Yeah.
Becky?
Well, I was, on paper, she's so complex. She's a sex worker working the streets. She's pregnant. She's got another child at home. She's in a manipulative, coercive relationship. But most of the situations in which we see her are with Danny, and actually, she's sort of a form of hope for him. So that was like a beautifully complex thing for me as an actor to try and get into. I thought need to do a lot of that base work beforehand, let it kind of sit, and then most of the time just play those moments and what he represents for her, which is actually nostalgia and something lighter and something more hopeful. And they needed to be able to give that to each other because I don't think the story works unless you're rooting for them as characters, because it is, a story of resilience, of hope, of getting up the next day and going again. So yeah, although a lot of the stuff was very weighty, and actually the difference between all of my stuff with Joe compared to where I was shooting with Warren, the character, they're very different, and I think that needed to come across. And you don't see a lot of the heavier stuff with her. She's actually, in a lot of the time, it's just a lot of conversational, lovely moments. So yeah, I wanted to let the heavier stuff sort of sit beneath it.
How much did you two actually have to work on the chemistry for these characters?
Have said this before, but I think that Joe immediately, I felt like I kind of knew him when I met him. He's like a lot of my mates from school. He's a lot of Manx, we kind of, you just get it. And I don't, I think it was quite natural for us. Joe, I felt really took care of me, was so supportive on screen and is very giving as a performer. So it never felt like we needed to kind of create something false. It felt very natural.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I remember first sort of auditioning with Becky, because what Gino and Ben did within the auditions was they workshopped a lot of people. So, I mean, I wouldn't have been in the room, but I'm sure Becky probably read with other possible Dannies that weren't me, and I did vice versa. Um, and at this point, we didn't know that we were going to be both getting casted. But I remember I don't know, you just feel like you already know someone, or, Becky's a very lovely, lovely, kind presence. And she's very giving as an actor. And she's very, one, easy to work with, but two, very easy to be around as a person. So, I mean, I got that sort of vibe straight away. And yeah, we have the same sense of humor. Like Becky said, we have sort of similar interests. We know similar people. So, we just got on really well. And when you're playing something like that, one of the main things that you have to have is trust in the other person. It's all about trust as actors. And I trust Becky very much. And yeah, it's an honour to have worked with her. So yeah, I think with a lot of what we did as well, we had a laugh in between takes. There were dark things that we were shooting, so we wanted to make sure that when we were having lunch and during the weekends, we were sort of in contact with each other and just making sure each other was all right and checking in. And yeah, I feel like getting to know Becky sort of as a mate offset, it can only contribute in a positive way towards the intimate and dark things in which we had to represent in the right way on set.
We were shooting till 6 in the morning as well, weren't we? 5, 6 in the morning. Because we
God,
were doing
yeah.
night scenes and it was shot in summer. We were starting really late. So there was an element of delirium, wasn't there?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
like there was just comedy value through that, because people are just absolutely shattered, aren't they?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
We
remember.
were shooting in real locations with chaos around us.
I think I remember Sam saying to me that he was like, "Whoa, I've never seen you in the day before," or something. By like the second week, he was like, "I've never seen you in daylight." Because like even once we were shooting so much in the city centre. I remember walking home from set. Never done that before in my
Oh,
life.
really?
But like it was the
Wow.
morning, and I was the most bizarre feeling taking the belly off when I got home at 6 in the morning, having walked home from set.
Because
Bizarre.
the light, we were getting light, weren't we? And we didn't want any
Yeah.
more light, and then we were just having to
It
go
was
home.
it was the birds when the birds
Birds.
Oh
started
yeah,
chirping.
yeah. They were ruining
Becky
Andy's sound, the birds.
Becky's got quite a few good videos of me, Gino, offset in the car that we just used to sit in when we
Yeah.
weren't needed whilst you guys were setting up. And they're all of me like half asleep. And it's her going, Joe, you needed now. And I'm like, oh, just give me 5 minutes. Sleeping.
Got the ADs going, Joe's needed on set. I say he's just asleep right
Hey,
now.
just asleep. Just give me a minute.
That is wonderful. Gino, let me throw the last question to you because in such an intense drama such as this, how much a debate on how you wanted to end this film? Because you could have gone in so many different directions.
Yeah, there was thoughts of different directions, but I just felt like the most realistic, well, hopefully, I felt that the most realistic was the one we picked, because I think that actually the highly dramatic endings where things could have gone even worse, if you like, and I know it was bad, but could have gone even worse, I felt are more unrealistic to everyday situations where people are in troubled, living troubled lives. And actually, this idea of resilience and everyone keeps going at the end, and there's a bit of a human spirit and a hope. I felt that that was more realistic of the majority of people who are living tough lives and have got limited choices, and are living these struggles. So to me, that and I felt to Ben as well, the producer. We had discussions of other things, and we even had discussions of ending earlier. than the final sort of, the bit that where Joe talks about, sort of his narration at the end. But it just felt right for us, and that's what we did, and that's all I can say. You go with your gut on this, and what felt honest.
Well said. Well, everyone, thank you very much for speaking to us about Treading Water. The world gets to have a chance to watch it, so we really appreciate you carrying this conversation with us.
Well, thank you for interviewing as
Thank
well.
you.
Lovely meeting.
Thanks, Gig.